Good evening. All the baldies are here and they're all mute, so I'm going to unmute them there. There we go. I'm going to unmute Sir Z so we can all talk. And we will probably talk soccer things, football things, Liverpool things. But what we won't talk about is the merits of Windows XP over Windows 8, as we did before we went on air. Because, you know, who needs Windows in their life at all? Stevie Wonder certainly doesn't. So, not much football to talk about for us. So here's what we're joined by the lads. We're back again. Ribs are in fine form. No more pneumonia. It's Lent, Ramadan, and Lunar New Year. So we've got a lot of things to celebrate and commiserate at the same time. But what we will talk about is our star player. It's obviously the rumors of him possibly, or at least Madrid being interested in him, shot down today, it seems, by Arne Slot, which is a good thing. We have to talk about Arsenal because it's the funniest thing I've seen in years. It's the funniest thing since Chelsea came third in a two-horse race. And then we'll talk about the relative success parameters for both Arne Slot and Mikel Arteta. And then we're playing the Forest away, I think, on Sunday on a game that I can watch. So, you know, we're probably going to lose now, no bastards. You know, we'll talk about that for pretty much most of it. But let's talk about, I mean, like, we've had an uptick. I think we were all positive about that last performance. You know, nothing to be sniffing at. I would want to say corners being torn because we've had enough of those that were on the roundabout, and we don't want to be doing that. Or the rotary if you're in New England. That seems to scare everybody worse than the imminent threat of nuclear war. I can't turn right forever. What are we going to do if I need to go left? You just keep going. That's how you work it. You just keep going. But this lad here, I think we can all agree, probably the player of the year so far. Probably will be player of the season. A player that some not on this particular Discord or the YouTube channel, etc., had maybe some reservations about. I know some fans did, but I was kind of thinking about how we all knew Stevie Gerrard was great, but we didn't realise how great he was until he was managed by Roy Hodgson, and he was the only good thing about it. Single-handedly rescuing games during that period. And you know, we've had a fallow period under Arne Slot this season, a shocking run of games. And yeah, he stood out. And I think that's a mark of a player that, you know, we're willing him to do a lot more because we think he's capable of. So, gentlemen, Zoboszlai, is he the big bad Dom? Is he a player that we're probably going to lose the way we lost Coutinho, the way we knew we were going to lose Suarez and all that to Barcelona? Real Madrid is still, it's probably still the biggest draw club-wise, not least because they have Sunshine, whatever that is. I've never heard of it before. But he has been fantastic, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've got my issues with him, but I can't deny that he's been Liverpool's most important player probably this year on the pitch. He's showing a higher level than he did last year. He's contributing more in terms of goals and assists, what I think is very important, especially for the midfielder at Liverpool. Fucking hell. Like, yeah. Jesus Christ. Like, we create enough chances, you know what I mean, in games at least. We should do. My biggest complaint with him has been that when people were talking about captain material, that I wanted to see him take games by the scruff of the neck and drag the side to wins. I would argue probably in the last 5-6 games we're probably seeing that. A little bit more of that as well. He has done it this season, yes, but let's be frank here. There's been a lot of miracle goals from him, which is handy. Beating Arsenal and things like that, of course, it's very handy. It's nice to have a lad who can take a free kick. I don't think he'll leave. I think this is just all paper talk. Real Madrid, he's got 2 years left on his contract. It gets clicks. I keep telling everyone, Liverpool get the most clicks in the world. Anything to do with Liverpool, people click on it. So I don't read too much into it. I think Liverpool just get it done and do the business kind of thing. If you actually look at Liverpool right now in terms of the captaincy, we don't expect the captain probably to go past the end of next season. The vice captain's probably leaving in the summer. So, you know what I mean? Then the third captain's probably Salah. If you actually have to have a look at it, probably is Salah.
And the natural successor pissed off to Madrid.
Exactly. Even though he said for 10 years that he wanted to be the next Steven Gerrard. There we are. And that's why we have issues. But yeah.
What he means is he's going to end up in LA Galaxy. That's what he meant by that.
Yeah. I'm excited for the loan move to Fenerbahce in 2 years. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Listen, he's growing on me a lot more. So I do want to see a lot more leadership out of him. But I do believe in the last few games we started to see that as Liverpool, and Liverpool have won 4 and 5. So that is form. I would say that's form in effect. And you're 10 minutes away from beating City. Do you know what I mean? You are 10 minutes away from beating City, and then you're sitting there and you're 5 and 5, and we all go great. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a positive. I don't believe the Real Madrid rumors anyway. So.
Suzy, the great thing about it is, I think Cossy's right. It's almost like he feels like he now has permission to be a leader. I don't want to be too negative, but at times I didn't feel Van Dijk. I really like Cossy's peacetime generals and wartime generals analogy, and I think Van Dijk is probably a very good peacetime captain, so to speak. Yeah. But when you need to dig in, we haven't really seen it. We haven't seen it from Salah. Robertson, you can see it, but he doesn't get on the pitch enough for it to be effective.
Sammy Yepie was a great point. Sammy
Yepie, yeah, he was a great peacetime captain.
It was time for war. Gerrard got the captain's arm and he gave it to him. Do you know what I mean? That's the other analogy of that. So yeah.
But what in terms of his technical performances, the great thing about his consistency has happened over like 3 or 4 positions. I mean that's a market class almost, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason we paid 70 million for him, and albeit it was Klopp's mate, but I think when he first came to us, he started off really well, and then we thought, we've got a player here, and then we just kind of drifted away. And I think I don't know if you guys remember, he did this interview back then, and obviously me being in psychology and whatever, I was reading this interview and it's saying that he's really lonely, like being in Liverpool, has got no one to turn to, whatever, and he just goes to training and just in his apartment. And I think, you make a move like that to any foreign country, I think now, it has its effect on you. And I think it took him a while to get past that, and obviously getting married and kid and settling down, I think has helped. And we started seeing, bits and pieces of what he could offer last season. I think the Wirtz signing was a kick up the arse that he needed. I think pretty much a lot of people wrote him off. I think probably 99% of people already picked Gravenberch, Macka, and Wirtz as a starting midfield, and Szoboszlai is now fighting for a place with Jones. But so credit to Szoboszlai, is shown what the money that we paid for him, and to do similar to what Stevie G did, and just like you can just put him in any position and he'll still perform. He's still got that immaturity about him, as he's shown against in that FA Cup game. But as Kazi said, it's just a matter of being when the chips are down, that you step up and you make everyone step up with you. And I don't know whether it's because he doesn't feel like he's earned his spot in that sense. We see someone like Virgil, who is a great captain, and he kind of reinvented his position after the injury, and another captain that's won the Premier League with us alongside Henderson, and maybe Szoboszlai just doesn't feel like he's up to that stature yet. But again, he's got a little bit of arrogance on him, which is great, and hopefully, he starts to see that he's more important to us than he actually realizes he is.
Brian, how much do you think the arrival of Kirk has helped him to settle in as well? I mean, especially if you express loneliness when he first arrived, having somebody who speaks his language and knows his culture, and we're in such a multicultural society. Cosy, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's probably a store somewhere in Liverpool where you can buy Hungarian food, like from back
Kirkus
home.
actually can't speak it. He can't speak Hungarian.
Kirkus?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he probably can't speak any language at all.
I think he's off.
That's why he has that hairstyle. He just goes in and
language.
points.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of this though, and I'll bring in the sec. I remember in Liverpool, we signed all the Brazilians. Well, we signed first time with all the Spanish players, with Pepe Reina and Antonio Nunes and Garcia and Alonso. And Liverpool just bought like 7-8 houses, and they've still owned those houses because all the Brazilian lads lived in them. So what happened was the club, for people who don't know, the club bought a load of houses for all the Spanish players to integrate with each other.
Yeah,
and that's what kind of happened. And then when that happened, when of course, the Spanish players left, players like Alisson, Firmino, Coutinho, I think Lucas was still about, who had a house up there, and then all the Brazilians just kind of got together because they kind of just knew each other. Funny enough, for people who don't know, Richarlison used to live around the corner, like from them, because of course he just knows them. So it definitely probably helps, doesn't it, that he's got a lad who kind of, he's familiar with in the national team and things like that. You know what I mean? It definitely helps.
Brian, what's your thoughts on Szoboszlai?
I mean, I really think that the Kirkus thing, yes, that's the advantage right there, but I do think that Verts' signing right there has helped out Szoboszlai because he's buckled down like kind of like Sir Z was saying. But I also think the dip in form of McAllister right there has probably helped him out most, in my opinion, right there. Because I think because again, like most of us already had that inclination right there that when it was going to be Gravenberch, McAllister, and Verts as that right there. McAllister's form dipped in that first part of the season right there, which allows Szoboszlai to go out there and basically get those running games and actually go out there being himself in a position to go out there to take grasp of that role. And I think also Szoboszlai's ability to go out there to play in multiple positions right there has really helped him out extremely. I mean, where he's been able to play right back, he's been played in the pivot, he's also gone there and played up a little bit further up top. So I think that those things right there complement him. And I think one of the best things with him and Verts is that they complement each other, because I think that Verts is more of a kind of a player right there who picks apart and more precision type player, kind of like looking through things, where we noticed like Szoboszlai last year. Well, I mean, I know from all of us that our biggest complaint about Szoboszlai last year was just running into the box and having no end part of the game right there, where he was just basically running. And then you also had Nunez there doing running, and you just had a bunch of just people running all over the place, and there was nothing really happening right there. I think that now that running that Szoboszlai has, like, there draws players toward him, which opens up Verts, opens up other players to actually be playmakers. And I think that's the one thing that's kind of stood out so much about Szoboszlai. I mean, you can't knock what you said right there. I do think that he's probably definitely the player of the season so far. I mean, just the impact that he's made. So, again, I think he's a Hungarian captain. So, we said a couple of months ago that we wanted to see all these captains, international captains, step up. And I think that Szoboszlai is definitely one that's actually stepped up and assumed that role of leadership.
And let me ask this for all of you. I mean, you think back, like even going back to Shankly's time, some of our best players that have ever pulled on a Liverpool shirt are players that played several positions for the club. Like you look at like United's like great 90s, they're great 90s team, but everybody played one position. Like Keane was always a central midfielder, Paul Ince was always a central midfielder, Cantona was always a number 10 or shadow striker, whatever they called it in those days. But, Eminent Hughes was a centre-back, a left-back, and a central midfielder. Tommy Smith started off as a number 10 into central midfield, full-back and central defender. Mark Lawrenson, central defender, central midfield for Ireland. Graham Souness was a right outside midfielder. Ray Kennedy was a left winger or centre-forward. Yeah. It seems to be a thing, doesn't it, that, to go along with the, apart from obviously us four, the reputation of Liverpool fans being knowledgeable, but it just seems that we have a thing for having intelligent players on the team that can adapt.
It's hard to say, Mac. I just think there's certain qualities that you have to look for where players can play multiple positions. They're so handy. That's why, like James Milner and Henderson, they're all handy as fuck, because they can just bail you, get you out of jams quick. You know what I mean? Like, suppose I can get you out of a jam. Suppose I can do a job right wing if Salah was out. you wouldn't mind him doing a bit of a diddle right wing for you. So that argument there, again, it's weird one with me with Szoboszlai, because as much as he's been good, very good this season, again, Liverpool's best player, I think I can get more out of him. Do you know what I mean? I still think he has I still think he has another level to go to. In a weird way, I still think he can take control of games more. I don't walk off the pitch. I don't like watch Liverpool and he walks off the pitch and I go, fucking hell, Szoboszlai controlled everything there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he's that type of player. Do you like kind of dictates I know he dictates the tempo for Liverpool, of course, off the ball, and that's why he's so important to play in centre mid and not right back. Sorry, just play anyone right back. Genuinely, just play any fucking body right back just to get him centre mid. Because if he helps you win the ball out the field, you haven't got who's half he plays right back. If he's winning the ball 10, 12 times high up the field, who's right back? If Liverpool win the ball back 30 yards from their goal, so that's always But I think he's on that trajectory, by the way, to be one of the best midfielders in the world. I do think he's on that trajectory. I think if this season he has to walk off with 10 goals, 10 assists. And you can sit there and go, but I think that about most midfielders at Liverpool. So maybe I'm just being kind of greedy. I think Vert to be disappointed if he doesn't get that. Do you know what I mean? If Vert doesn't walk off, even though he had a rough start with 10 goals and 10 assists, and go, I think that's the bare fucking minimum. So Szoboszlai's taking free kicks and corners. So sometimes I don't judge players by stats. I really don't. But I also look at a player and go, and I've said this before to you, you're fucking 6'3" or 6'2", captain of your country, 25, energy like fucking built like a house. Do you know what I mean? Like I fucking driving into the box, strong, quick, powerful. I expect more numbers. I expect. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I think, and again, so it is kind of contradictory a little bit because I do look at a player and go, fucking, I got all the attributes, but when I look at your numbers, I go, they're not there. But this season, he started to add the numbers, which is important, of course. And listen again, I just don't believe any of the Real Madrid stuff. It's all shite. I really do. Listen, mate. The conversation with Szoboszlai is in the summer. Do you want to be the most important player of Liverpool for the next 5 to 7 years, alongside Vert and TK and Isak and that? Do you want to fucking build this? Because if you see those frauds who are in the league, it isn't that hard to catch these. Do you know what I mean? Like that, Frank. Because I said this last week to Mitch, and it's a bit of a tangent, but I think it's very important that we all need to get our heads around this for the manager. And I said it last week on the Friday show. The manager's getting helped out this season because Arsenal aren't running away with the league. So the gap isn't that big to jump. So, for example, if Arsenal finished on 98 points and Liverpool finished on 62, you'll go, fuck, you're going to make up 35 points to win the league. If Arsenal win the league on 77 and Liverpool finish on 62, we all sit there in the summer and go, fucking hell, boys, hard lines, Isak broke his leg. We're all settled in, let's go, it's only 15 points, you know what I mean? And by the way, they couldn't beat you last year. I think that helps the manager. Do you get what I mean? I think that if you're sitting there, you're Hughes and Edwards in the summer and you're discussing the manager's future and what your plan is, I think that's a massive help. So going back to the Szoboszlai conversation is Pep Guardiola's getting off. He's literally getting off. We know this. You got Arteta, and by the way, if City win the league, you can say, well, he's the biggest fraud in the world. He's getting off. This is wide open for us, and by the way, we're going to sign 6-7 new players to go alongside you. Do you want to be the fucking main man as the skipper? Come on, you got to be like licking your lips for any centre midfielder at Liverpool Football Club to be getting that. But that's what's on Szoboszlai's plate if he wants to go to Real Madrid, no problem. I say this all the time with footy players. He doesn't want to go and play for Real Madrid and Barcelona. I've got no issue. I say this all the time. If people's dream to go and like join these clubs, that's fine. No problem. If I was at a different football club, gents, and Liverpool came in for me, I would do everything in my power to play it for Liverpool. Like, people go, oh, you can't laugh like that. Oh, Coutinho faked the back injury. Mate, I'd be going in, slapping the manager silly until he said, they're like literally going in and slapping the manager until he sold me to get me to Liverpool. So I just think in terms of the project for Szoboszlai and what he could potentially be, and again with the growth with Vert and all that around him, I think he could go on to be one of the best players in the world, yeah.
So do you think, I mean, he's played box-to-box midfield, he's played the 10 role, he's played the right mid-attacking, I don't know what they call it in the 4-2-3, you wonder, right? Attacking midfield, he's played right back, obviously.
Right wing, Macka with old school, right wing. We're just I
want my right wingers to cross the ball into big number 9s who can't kick a ball straight. They have a head like a traction engine.
That's why I'm so excited to get Isak back on the pitch.
Yeah.
Proper number 9. Runs about 3K a game. He runs 3K a game. That's it.
That's what I want. That's what I want. But in terms, like he hasn't, not that he hasn't settled into a position. But like I don't want to go off on a tangent. But my thing, what kind of was thinking about with that versatility thing, is that we sit there, we kind of, praise it sometimes, and we mock sometimes the smartest guys in the room with all their Excel spreadsheets. But the template is there for Liverpool players, isn't it? Get adaptable, intelligent, fit, good heart, fighting players, and who can play one or two positions, and then use them where they're best employed. And Szoboszlai is almost the model for that, isn't it? Like, stop trying to be clever about it. Get somebody who complements Szoboszlai, and then we're laughing here. If he's going to be running forward, get a number 6 that's going to sit behind him and complement him. That's how the teams have always been built, not mostly at Liverpool, but elsewhere as well. But he really is turning into a model Liverpool midfielder, isn't he?
Just a model. He's just turning.
Or a model, yeah, he is.
That as well. Yeah, I mean, versatility. I mean, especially if you're going to have a squad as shallow as ours, and with a coach that just opening and miss, he doesn't like to rotate. I think having that versatility and just playing in at least more than one or two positions, and not just playing, but actually playing well, is obviously going to stand you in good stead and having a Liverpool career. And even when we were all kids, when we played, we never really played in one position. You go to school playground, you play wherever. You just chase the ball around. But no, that's pretty much. He's a player's player. I mean, he's athletic and strong and everything else, but he's like that old school football player that all right, this is what you're playing today, and you just accept it, And he hasn't really. He really hasn't niched himself out of any positions, which is, it's always good.
Brian, I saw somebody suggesting, I can't remember where I saw because I was probably just watching it really briefly. Somebody suggests it might have been Jamie Carragher actually, but that Liverpool with a Declan Rice will be an entirely different prospect as the squad is now. My question to you, my dilemma for you, my moral dilemma: would you swap Declan Rice for Szoboszlai?
Oh, that's a great.
Hell no.
No way.
Now, bearing in mind how many times we've sat here on this show and complained about not having a defensive mid.
I understand that right there. I completely understand, but there's no way I can come here. There's no way I want Declan Rice in my squad.
I get that. But my
anyone who
point
changes
is,
their allegiances internationally, no.
my point is though, like even like as I hate to admit that he is a very good player, but that's the measure of how valuable Szoboszlai could be to Liverpool in the next few years, isn't it? That you'd rather maybe get Endo with number 6 with his injury than lose Szoboszlai at this point.
I mean, again, yes, I'm one of the people right there who think that we need a Fabinho type player in the squad right there. But I think that you lose more by by swapping out Szoboszlai right there. I think that you lose a lot more. And so I wouldn't be able to make that change. I mean, because I would say right there, if there was a player right there who I'd be tempted would be Caicedo. I think that Caicedo would be definitely a tempting thing to me. But I really think that with Szoboszlai, with the ability to actually go through multiple, to be a jack of all trades right there, to be able to go into multiple positions, I think as a squad player right there, you gain so much more out of him. And I mean. So yeah, I mean, because we've all seen how that we've used the double pivot last year, and I complain about our formation all the time. I mean, but I think that if you have disciplined players back in that double pivot, it works. The problem is I've had with this formation is neither Gravenberch or McAllister have been disciplined this entire season right there. They both decided to make runs when at the same time they both decided nobody sat back and supported Konate and Van Dijk. So if I would discipline the double pivot, I think we're okay. And I don't think there's a risk of moving a player like Szoboszlai, who I can actually go and put in, like you said, a right wing. I can go put him into a right back. I can put him as a number 10, and I can put him back in a double pivot. So there's multiple positions I can move him to.
Now, this is one last question on this topic for all three of you. Something that we talked on the Discord channel, which everybody should be signing up to, as well as following us and liking us and subscribing, etc., etc., etc. Which is we were talking about, the death of the creative player in football. We can all have our theories on it, but it seems it kind of took me back to when we talked about Arne Slot complaining about low block teams and how to beat them and all that. And one surefire way to do that is having somebody who can leather a ball from 42 yards out from the goal. Szoboszlai has that. He has it for Hungary. We complained about him not using it enough, but it's really up to the manager, isn't it, to understand that he doesn't really have problems with the low block. He just refuses to use the solutions that like putting players like Rio Ingamoha on there who can take players on in the box and cause penalties, and letting Szoboszlai as close to the goal as possible so he can do those howitzers into the top corner. I mean, if you're, I'm not slamming Arne Slot, but if you're a more methodical, let's put jigsaw pieces together to form a team to beat everybody in the league, Szoboszlai is one of your main ones when you're coming up against the low blocks, isn't he? You got to make sure he's on the pitch in areas where he's going to hurt those teams, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's probably been our most creative player, and like I said, it always helps to have a good free kick taker, and so someone who's not afraid to take shots. I don't know why he hasn't. Even the last couple of seasons, he wasn't really taking that many shots, and I think even Slot was saying like as good as Szoboszlai is, he's not getting enough goals from his position. So obviously something's clicked in him, something that sparked him, and I think that free kick against Arsenal earlier in the season was like the catalyst for it, and now it's just like, okay, every time he gets around a free kick, it's like we've got that kind of Trent expectation where we're expecting this ball to go in. And yeah, I obviously the least said about our left wing and a certain player playing constantly, the better. But we have the tools. It's just a matter of having the right person to use them.
But like I mean, you're right there. Not mostly not because you're agreeing with what I said, but like I'm thinking back to like when we played United under Houllier. As long as John Arne Riise was on the pitch, you knew something could happen for us, and that's a threat. That's a threat worth having all the time, isn't it?
It's massive. It's massive, especially against the team. We were like, again, the low blocking that is a conversation. But I say this all the time: take a chance. You can deflect him. You can hit someone's arms and go in. How many times did we play City under Klopp and Pep under City? Fucking, they scored about 5 goals in those massive games and just hit Joe Matip and went in because he took a chance. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what happens sometimes. And again, that's another reason why he frustrates me a little bit, because I do feel like he gets in some great positions as well, and I want to see him fucking fire it. He's the one I want to see shooting. I don't want him on the edge of the box. I don't want to see any, some of the lads that I don't think's got it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. And again, let's hope he signs and we can all go from there. I just think Liverpool have bigger issues right now, and then we can deal with this in the summer, kind of thing. And by the way, he's one of those players I don't think is going to the World Cup, so we can go and deal with this. And kind of that's another thing that could have happened here. Just come and see me in the summer, boys. I'm not going to the World Cup. We'll have a big chat. Come and see me in the villa. We'll take some pictures like you did with Salah all those years ago. We all go from there.
As he goes to open up his little box in his bedroom and takes out his voodoo doll of Troy.
Yeah. Should we talk about Arsenal because we haven't got long?
Yes, we are. Because here's I got like a team picture from the training ground. There they are. There's the Arsenal squad. Look, this is almost this is a Newcastle 96 proportion. Fall back on this, isn't it?
We are still 4 points clear, but it looks like it's on that way. That's all. Let's just say that. Let's not
count our chickens.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like it's on that way to being.
But everybody had this conversation back then as well.
Everyone who wasn't an Arsenal fan knew this could happen. They've won 3-8 in the league. They've won 3-8 in the league. That's fucking poor, Like for any champion of the Premier League has never won 3-8 and won the league. I'll probably be very confident in saying that. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to say it is. No one's won 3-8 and won the league. Listen, this is difficult. But I watched the highlights. I watched like the 25, 30-minute highlights. And it looks like they got a 2-0
Mm.
and they shit themselves.
Yeah.
To the team who has signed football players for the championship and a manager for the championship.
Yeah.
Including Adam Armstrong, which I couldn't believe he's at Wolves, by the way. My head fell off. This is difficult, this, for him. The biggest barrier in the world, people keep saying, oh, that League Cup final is important. It could be done by the League Cup final. Because the one thing that you've done now, yesterday, is done. You've now put it in City's hands.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. And we've been there. We have been there. When City get in their hands, this is the same City and all this, right? By the way, I think it's the worst Pep Guardiola side since the one he took over. I think it really is. When you have a goal, when you have players like Haaland who can just score goals willy-nilly when he wants to, you have a massive issue. And the mentality conversation about Arsenal and the bottling, I get all this. And of course, it's affecting the players. Clearly, it's affecting the players. There's a part of this, though, gents, where he now is. I also, I'm going to go off on something here, but I think it always sticks to me. Duncan Ferguson used to be a very good football player. For anyone who didn't know, watching everything, he was a very good player. And then he bought into the narrative of he's the hard man, and then he felt like he had to go away from being decent with his feet and scoring goals to being the hard man and averaging 6 goals a season for Everton and becoming a hero, because that's what happened. Arteta had found a thing which they were quite good at, and then went all chips in on being the shit houses to win the league.
Yeah.
Now that is, for me, is a problem. So in 23-24, when they come second, the City, I think they scored 9. I think they get 89 points and score like 90 odd goals. They were very good when they had Smith Rowe, Saka the first time round at Odegaard, when Odegaard was flying. The season after, they scored like 64 goals or something like that, 67 goals. He's went so far the other way. Now, he doesn't know how to batter teams. Where, for example, I know he battered Leeds, and I can argue that, and he battered Sunderland without no Granit Xhaka. Do you know what I mean? And I get all this conversation, it's fine to have. I think now with Arsenal, they could be 2-3-0 up in a game. If the opposition scores, it could be any score. It could finish anything. It could finish 5-3 Arsenal. So the teams that they battered, and I'll go through for you here, gents, that they battered Sunderland 3-0 being the important part. Sunderland scored 0. Leeds scored 0. They battered them 4-0. So now I'll go back for you. The only one where I kind of thought they could get away was the Arsenal to beat Villa 4-1, and that was back in December. So what I'm getting at is that now he's at that stage, gents, where if the opposition scores, it doesn't matter how many goals Arsenal have scored already. If they're 3-0 up in a game and the opposition scores on the 79th minute, their heads could just get kettled. The keeper comes for the ball yesterday for the Wolves goal. He has no right to go. We don't know why he's came. And then they can sit there, Arsenal, and go, fucking hell, we've had hard lines. The ball's at the post, it's at Calafiori and went in and all that. And you can say it's hard lines, and I've got no issue with saying that. But I just think now what you've done with 12 games to go, League Cup final, FA Cup, by the way, you're playing Mansfield, so you're definitely getting through. So that's more games of footy. You are in the last 16 in the Champions League. I just think now that as much as you've got the squad to do it, I don't know if you have the experienced players to do it, to calm it all down. So when Liverpool won their first league in 30 years, we won 27 of the 28 first games, or 26 of 27. Liverpool just went out and went, we just got to win every game. That's it.
Yeah.
We finished on 97 points and didn't win it. Fuck this. We're going to go out and win every single game and go from there. I think now, when you have a hoodoo like that on your back, it'd be the same for United when United win it in like 15 years. You just got to win your first 15 games and go and just say to the opposition, this is none of your business this season. It's none of your business. Because what happens is you've got you so much of a bit of a lead that a draw at home or a draw away to Forest, draw into Wolves away. These are teams, by the way, you might be playing in the Championship next season. Like that, that's not an outlandish thing to say about Forest and Wolves. I think now he's at that stage, gents, where all the games are adding up. Even, for example, if they lose that League Cup final, the bottlers tag is there again. I just think now, I don't know where he goes. I don't know what his next move is as a manager. I don't know what. And by the way, you're playing the North London derby this weekend with the new manager bouncing at Spurs, which could be fucking hell. It's just the last thing you need, by the way. Yes, they're the worst team in the league on form. Spurs are one of the worst teams in the league on form. New manager bounce at home let's get those frauds to us. Because that's what, if I'm a Spurs player, I'll be going, I want to play them next. Get them here. We could do with a big game and a big atmosphere. I don't know what Arteta does. It's the first time I've ever fought with the manager. I don't know what his move is. Because you can still win the league. If you win the league on 77 points, people are still going to call you shite champions. And that's how footy is. Do you know what I mean? Like, people will call you that. Like, oh yeah, you won it with the worst Liverpool team in 10 years. You didn't have no one challenging. You had Aston Villa finishing second, potentially. Do you know what I mean? It just still doesn't feel like, yeah, it'll be great and you've won the league title and all that. I don't know if it's fulfilling enough. It's such a weird, I don't know, gents. Go on. I know I went on a bit of a tangent there. I just don't know what the manager does. I really don't.
Brian, what do you think is behind all of this? I mean, they don't have the experience. They kind of remind me of Leeds under Don Revie, like way back in the 70s, where they did play a very defensive, dour kind of attritional game almost, and they didn't win as much as people thought they should have. Because
go on from that. Sorry, go on. What are you about to say? Go on.
I was just saying, like, they didn't win as much as they should. People thought they should have, because they did the same thing. If they were playing like Stoke and Duncan McKenzie or whoever scores against them, then it's all panic stations because they think, oh, we're going to finish second again to Derby.
There's a part of this though. So the closest scenario for the people who don't know is like the Mourinho Chelsea side, right? Because of course they play defensive football and things like that, but they won the league. And by the way, they get over 90 points by doing this type of way of football. But that was a way of football that was 25 years ago, 20 years ago. That's when that way of football was fine. And when you look at that Chelsea side, they did. Yeah, Macka, who had been there and done it.
Yeah,
genuinely, like, being there, like a fucking hero, like, you know what I mean? Carvalho won the Champions League, I think, with him, with Paulo Ferreira, with Porto and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, he had his winners around him still. So when you do that, Liverpool, when we did it, we had James Milner in the dressing room going, lads, this is sound. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is all sound. We just won the Champions League. Liverpool won the Champions League first.
Even Virgil van Dijk. I know it's Scottish football, but you know, to be there, you have to be there.
It's a part of this though, Mac, right? And I think, and again, I'm sorry for putting in, lads, I get using in this, because I think this is mad. Liverpool walk in 18-19 with the big one on the table and go, I told you I was right. We got 97, we're winning that next year. Liverpool go on to win that. He's got the FA Cup from 5 years ago. None of those players played in it.
No.
He didn't play in it.
Yeah.
I think it's important when you first get that monkey off your back, that you have a player like your Makalele's, like your James Milner's, the players who've been there and won league titles. James Milner won them at City. Do you know what I mean? Like, those experience and like those lads that calm it all down in games. It feels like every game is so emotional for them. So emotional. They win a game 1-0 against someone shite and they're all crying on the pitch. It's like, this is wild stuff. It's just like, I just think there's a part of this though. And again, even like, look at Leicester. Leicester win the league. They have Robert Huth playing centre half. He's played at Chelsea. I think he was a part of a league title. You sit there and go, lads, it's all right. Don't worry about this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think when I look at their side, there's not many players who I'd say they've been there and done it, is they? They've been there and done it. When the goals got tough for fucking 6 games to go. And again, I go to fixtures, gents. Liverpool got the hardest May ever, by the way. But I go to fixtures because I was looking at them this morning. West Ham away. Of course, they look like a bag of rags on May the 9th with 3 games to go and they need points. West Ham away is not a joke. That's not fun. Do you know what I mean? You might be Burnley, you might be... But by the way, you go to Palace away on the last day and Palace might need the points to stay up. Do you know what I mean? So this is all like kind of falling into place where you look at, you got the easier run. But before you know it, you're playing Newcastle at home. Newcastle are your bogey team. And they might need the points to go in the top 4 or the top 6 or the top 8, whatever it's going to be. I don't know what the manager does, Matt. It's the first time ever I was thinking to myself, where'd you go? What do you do? Because, okay, you can go out and beat Arsenal and that's it. You can go out and beat Spurs, that's no problem. No one's asked if you beat Spurs because you're so worried not to get that gap back. Do you know what I mean? Like, the gap has shrunk that much that I think everyone's waiting on City to drop. Sorry, Brad. Go on.
No, I mean, I totally agree with what you said right there. This lack of experience right there. You don't have anybody. I mean, so you're the last person in that team right now, currently that team that has actually won silverware is Eze. And I mean, that's the FA Cup from last year.
That's what my Champions League, but I know it's not the same level.
Yeah, I agree totally with him. But again, that's the last person that actually has silverware in their hands right there as a person you brought in in January. So, and it's also a player that you're not even playing. I mean, he's staying on the bench. You have Trossard starting ahead of him right now. So I mean, I don't understand I don't understand Arteta's mentality. I don't understand it all right there. And on the top of your points about that, I don't. They have a very good chance of dropping points in both those next matches. I mean, because then they turn right Chelsea right after that, and I think that actually Chelsea right there is a better side than they are. I mean,
then they go to Brighton, no matter the laughs.
Yeah, exactly. And Brighton right after that, which is not an easy team to play either. So there's problems, and then City right there still have that gap game to play right there to go through there. I mean, you're probably talking right now that City's probably going to be within 2 points of them in like 2 weeks. I mean, easily right there. So
four now, and I just think City are playing City's next 3 on Newcastle at home, Leeds away, and Forest at home.
Those are 3 wins for them.
Their next games are the North London derby, Chelsea at home, and Brighton away.
And they're probably going to drop. They'll probably get 3 points, maybe 4 points out of those 3 matches.
You could be looking at the start of like the middle of March, gents. You could be looking at City at top.
Oh yeah,
that's fucking.
I said this. So I said this at work right there too.
By the way, I just laughing as well. By the way, didn't City throw 4 on the bounce like 3 weeks ago? This is the biggest drop-off ever. This is the biggest bottle job in the history of footy if they don't win this league.
I said this to my Man United to my Man United co-worker. I said, City's going to win the league. He said, oh, hell no. There's no way. I said, City's going to win the league. I said this from the get-go. I think that because I saw the one thing that City has on there is that they know Pep's leaving on here. So they have everything. They just play. And the other thing they have winning experience behind them. So, and those are 2 big, strong things right there, mentally wise, right there that Arsenal don't have. Because they're still going to hang on to Arteta right there, even though he's won shit. I mean, and they don't have any players right there who have experience of winning anything aside from what I just mentioned right there. So you have that advantage, right? City has an advantage on them right there. And now when you're dropping points against a shit Wolves team, which is basically just a championship side in the making right now, you drop points against them. And you basically hung your head down at the end. And then you have Gabriel Jesus acting like an idiot at the end of the match. So you've already lost your mentality on top of that too. So, I mean, they got everything to lose at the moment.
So Z, you must be the happiest of all of us.
Listen, this all happened the first day of Ramadan and first day of Lent. That's God telling Arsenal, you're fucking losers. You're not winning. You are not winning the league. And
we'll see.
Yeah, it's it couldn't happen to a better team. I mean, obviously, like you can drop points to lower league teams anytime, but the way they're self-capitulating, the big gap they had in points, like. It was, and now it's gone down to 4, and now you're seeing the Arsenal fans lose their heads. That's a big thing. The players are starting to have doubts. It's like you guys are saying they don't have that experienced leader to say, look, we can get through this. Just roll our socks up. We can do this. They're all in the same boat, so they're all feeding off the same energy of shit. We were actually, I think it was anyone else but City behind them, or maybe us behind them. I think Arsenal could relax a bit, but City have shown it over and over again. This is Pep Guardiola. You've got obviously got Haaland. You've got all them experienced players like Bernardo Silva who hate Arsenal, or all them players that hate Arsenal and etc. right now. And so Arteta's doing I think if Arsenal don't win the league this season, given where they were, I think Arteta walks. I don't think the fans will. Let
me just before Cosy gets in there, let me flip that as well. You kind of get the impression that if City does win this league, Guardiola's definitely gone. That's a nice fight to go out on, isn't it?
It's hard in the Guardiola section. I just think there's a part of this where if you're City now, you're laughing, you're licking your chops, going, we haven't even got going. Yep. We haven't even got going. And the one thing that we can all guarantee on in this room, boys, all the lads who've won it for 5-6 years, your Stones, isn't that and go, we finish strong. Yeah. We always win the last 10, last 8. And by the way, we might not even need to win that much. That is a scary place to be. And I tell you right now, when they go there in April, Arsenal go to City will whack them 3-4. Honestly, City will absolutely run all over the park with them. And I just, that's why I'm saying, that when Liverpool to break the hoodoo, we got so far ahead. It was game over in October. City couldn't even be asked. Liverpool could relax a little bit. Liverpool could, the shackles were off when we fucking scored that goal in January. Liverpool go 20-odd points. I think it was a game in March. We beat Watford away. It's a famous headline. Liverpool go 25 points clear. That's how Liverpool broke their hoodoo of winning the league title.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting if City stayed with. It was impossible to stay with us because we won every game. But again, if City were close to us to see what would have happened. But again, we walked in with the big one the year before. And again, you go back to hoodoos, lads. Mourinho walks in with experience with the Champions League from Porto. Think, I can do it, I can do that. Let all listen to me and come along with me. And I think there's only so much where you can hire pickpockets to say always be alert. You can have a fucking battery with a light bulb going, look, the battery has to stay connected and we all got to stay connected on the pitch and all that kind of weird fucking David Brent stuff that he comes up with. Right? That's fine. There's only so much that can happen before they go, hey, where's the fucking sofas at the end of this then?
Yeah.
And I think that's important because I think there's certain games like Forest away when the lads are probably looking, we should have fucking went for their throats. Do you know what I mean? We're 2-0 up at Wolves, we should win 5-0. Win 5-0. Oh, that's what should happen. It hasn't happened. You've went defensive. It's costing you. I don't know. Again, Mac, I don't know what his next move is. And I'm banging. I cannot wait. I love the North London derby anyway. By the way, it's one of my favourite games to watch, the North London derby. I've never looked forward to a North London derby with a random guy called Igor Tudor in charge of Spurs, just doing some mad, crazy shit, and just like watching me a big Mickey van der Ven running the 89th minute just to score a winner and just laugh me head off. But, yeah.
Let me ask one quick question before we go on to the first game for the weekend. Let's say Arsenal lose the title to City, but Arteta stays on and Arne Slot does a nice end to the season and stays on. Who starts the season under the most pressure next year?
Arteta.
Arteta,
for sure.
I think
Arsenal aren't winning the Champions League. If they bottle this league, that's it. The fans are done with him.
Well, that's another thing.
I mean, it's been 6 years.
I mean, it's because we're soft-hearted bastards. To me, give Arnie Slot another chance, isn't it?
It says he just nailed it there. I don't know if you realise it, but in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, they can play each other.
Yeah.
It's only done. They can play each other if they get through. Imagine that. You have City win the League Cup, they knock out the Champions League, and then you've got to go and win your last 4 to win the league off them. No chance. I just think, and again, I do really think sometimes, lads, when it gets to the nitty gritty and everything's so emotional in that team that you just need the lads just to go, calm it all down. Just calm it all down. And yeah, I watched the Wolves games. Really interesting because when Wolves go 2-1, they get more defensive, but then they lose the outlet. Jesus has a chance, which Jesus should make it 3-1 really. But I don't know where they go. I'm super interested to see what the manager does.
Now let's move on to this one first. And I believe it's away for us, isn't it?
Yes.
The graphic says so. We got that right at least today. Now they won today 3-0, I believe, in the European game.
Tamuchin's team fell apart.
Yeah, fell apart. That's what they did.
Fenerbahce. Like some Fenerbahces.
I'll watch tomorrow morning show.
I'm excited for that now.
Come for the football analysis, stay for the terrible puns. That's our show. But now, I mean, they did. Vitor Pereira did get a nice new manager bounce there. His press conference after was all about letting the players enjoy themselves, which sometimes that's we talked about this for Arne Slot in that bad period. Just let them play. Just don't worry about like styles and all that. Are they now a danger coming into this game more so than when Dyche was the manager?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Whoever Liverpool plays a danger. That's going to be the whole season.
No, that's true. That is true. That is really true. Yeah.
Liverpool go for Wolves next week.
So that charity game against the underage from the academy, are they a danger? Because
we might not win that charity game in March when Klopp's manager, when he comes back. We're probably going to lose that. But I just think there's a part of this where whoever, it doesn't matter Liverpool play. Doesn't matter. It does genuinely. Liverpool can play City away, play Wolves away. Doesn't matter because I don't know what Liverpool's going to show up. Now, based on the last 5-6 games, it looks like I might have a team who can compete and score goals. And if I do that, I think if Liverpool get a couple of goals, I don't think they put 3 past us. So we all go from there. So I just think that's Liverpool's season right now. Liverpool have got 12 games to go. I think they need to win 9.
Yeah.
probably, maybe 10 to guarantee your top 4 place. I don't know if it's going to be top 5. I have no idea. So you don't want to. By the way, you don't want to take that risk. Don't take that risk. Finish fourth. Don't take a risk on a fucking UEFA diddle. That you know what I mean, or win the Champions League, which is it's tremendously difficult. So I don't think it cares who matters. Yes, is it unfortunate that they've just battered Fenerbahce away 3-0? No. There's also a part of this where the players might go on Sunday, fuck me, and then go all out attacking, and then there's loads of space that opens up for Liverpool, and Liverpool can pick them off. So it might be a bonus. And also there's players there that played 90 minutes and Liverpool have had a week off.
Yeah.
So I expect Liverpool to be fitter than them. I expect Liverpool to be stronger than them. And if they want to come out and go a bit gung-ho against us because we need the points, then I think Liverpool can pick them off and win comfortably.
Brian, do you think we'll see more of the Salah that we saw in the last game, which seemed to be as close to what we're used to as we've seen this season?
He's back.
Yeah, I really do. I think he's seemed a lot more revitalized in that match against Brighton. I think and again, one of the things I mentioned on Monday night right there was that I think that his role is a little different than what it was at the beginning part of the season. I don't see him actually coming and going and tracking back as far as he was. Is he still doing defensive work? Sure. But is he tracking back all the way back and playing as a right attacking midfielder? No. I think that he's more up in that top third. And one thing I noticed with him, he was smiling. I mean, and I noticed that right there from like the beginning part of the season right there. He just seems like he just wasn't happy. And you can tell when footballers are happy right there about how they play. And it was a little bit more mopey and stuff like that. And I think that seems like he's enjoying his football again. So yes, I do think that we're going to see that same Salah again.
I think we've several players who are Muslim. Do you think Ramadan will have an effect this early? I know it will, like coming up to the end of Ramadan. You know, it's a not that Lent is any sort of horrible.
I'm glad you went to Sergi with that question, not me.
No, but Lent is you give up a candy bar or something like that for 40 days. Ramadan it's a proper expression of faith. It's a proper nutritional expression of faith. But the first few days, I'm sure they're tough, but they're certainly not as tough as day 27. And you're a professional athlete. If I remember correctly. They can't even drink water, can they?
Yeah, we can't drink water between sunrise and sunset. But obviously, the days are getting smaller, which is good. That was my biggest worry, and I brought it up a few times back in December when I think we got Ekitike, Salah, and Konate, and I think there's Morrison from the reserve team, whatever. But those are 3 huge players that need to be on top of the game, and it's not so much the physicality. I think these players are conditioned physically enough at this day and age. It's that it's the mental block. It's when you're starving your brain of carbs, you have this brain fog. And it's
because I know you're hungry, bro. I know you're.
I'm sure because I'm all carbs. I'm permanently brain fog.
Sunrise to sunset. I mean, I finished my fast at 6:15, but.
Yeah.
But it's the brain, like you can feel yourself slowing down. Like physically, you can go without food. It's that you don't realize how much your brain is feeding off your carbs and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's my fear, especially with Konate, who has these has his little mental blocks. But I mean, physically, I think they're conditioned well enough. I know Klopp when Klopp was there, Mane and Salah and Keita and everyone else doing it, they changed the training regime. I don't know if Slot has done that or, he hasn't said anything, but we'll see. I mean, the good thing is that I think pretty much there's quite a few Premier League players in the same boat now, a lot more than before. So it's not just Liverpool that are affected by it.
I think there's a part of this with Salah, and I said this last week on the Friday show. I think he's been great the last 5 games.
Yeah,
I don't think it's just been Brighton. I when you look at the last 5 games, and when Liverpool have kind of played well in games, let's say, the Karabakh game he scores, he gets a couple of assists. The Newcastle game, I think he gets a couple of assists in the Newcastle game as well. The City game, He makes the pass for Ekatike when Ekatike should score, the header. It's an unbelievable pass. It was about to be in the pass of the season, whether he's in the game or not. The Sunderland away game, he's the one who crosses the ball in for the header. And then the Brighton game, he's involved. So Salah's numbers are starting to get back in the last 5 games. And Salah's a numbers player. He's not an Eden Hazard, but he's lovely on the eye and Riyad Mahrez, and he's not that player. He's a numbers player. So they consider him. Eden Hazard's better footy player on you, and he's an Hazard walks off at the end of the season with 9 goals, and Mo Salah walks off with 27. So do you know what I mean? So I think there's a part of that conversation. I think it's been greatly over-exaggerated, the fall-off of Mo Salah. I really do. I think it's been massively over-exaggerated. I think if Liverpool was sitting top of the league and Ekatike had 20 and Isak had 20 and Mo Salah had 4, you'd all go, well, that was a part of the plan. Just the burden on Mo, it's a part of the plan. Because Liverpool are struggling, the burden's back on Mo. Instead of the burden being on Cody Gakpo and Ekatike and Wirtz, helping them out. Which, by the way, they're all on loads of money as well, by the way, and have cost loads of money. So I just think if the tide was turned and Liverpool were top, and Mo Salah was on 5 goals, I think you go, well, that was a plan. Oh, what a great strategy by Liverpool. Get the goals off, Mo, we're still competing. Look at this, fucking hell, we're all geniuses. Yeah. And because Liverpool are struggling, that's where the pressure's been on Mo. So.
I mean, that's kind of natural. That was when you have a top talk. That's the boredom of the goal scorer. You get all the goals when you're scoring all the goals. Yes. And you get all the boredom when you don't.
Yeah, but there's a part of this, though. If you walk off at the end of the season, we can all look at numbers. And I think Mo Salah probably still ended up on fucking 12 to 15 goals. And then you look around the other wingers in the league and you go, well, he's just better than all the other wingers still. And he gets more goals than all the other wingers. And he's had an awful season. So I do think there's a part of this, Mark, where, again, I know Ekatike's had a great start. Wirtz had an offy start, but he's now starting to come into it. And Gakpo, we can count all their goals over the end of the season and see where they are as well. I just think that's because that's a part of this game here. You have to share the load now and then. Liverpool win the league last year by a sheer freak of a season from Mo Salah. Let's be frank. It's a few great pieces of a puzzle and Mo Salah, and that's exactly what happened. And I just think other people, going back to the Szoboszlai conversation very early on, need to take responsibility in this team. I'm not saying responsibility for Szoboszlai for scoring goals, but responsibility for everything else. Take responsibility and be a leader in this team.
Brian, what quick thoughts on that game coming up? We should play well. That's the first thing, isn't it? If we play well, the result will be what it is. But when we do play well, we can fashion results, can't we? It's not a binary thing. We either play well or we win.
I mean, I think right there, Kyle, feed off of what Kazi said. If Force come at us, we're going to beat them pretty handily. If they go into a low block and they frustrate us, then it could possibly be a problem. I mean, so I think it depends on how Force line up and how they do it right there. But I mean, the one thing we have to do is we have to play our match. I mean, that's the thing. We need to be a little bit free flowing, and I do think that we're going to get a win out of this. I'd say like maybe a 2-0, 3-1, something in that ballpark.
Cousins is the share. I think Forest can probably score. They are going to play an open game. They'll be going hell for leather to impress the manager. But if we play to the form we've played in the last 5 or 6 games, at least for 60 minutes of the City game, I could see a score in 3, maybe 4 on a good day. What say you?
I think it's going to be an hard game. I really do. I think it'll be hard. I think Liverpool will win, but I think it's going to be really hard. Forest need all the points they can get, and they're going to have a bit of a bounce coming from. I just think that extra game, I think going into the 60th, 70th minute, I know it's difficult because Liverpool don't really have a sub that can massively change it when they're tiring. Do you know what I mean? But I do think Liverpool, I'll probably agree with Bright 2-0. I think Liverpool score probably in the first 30 and the last 10. I think it's going to be a bit of a slog.
We do have that player, he just refuses to play him until the last minute. Is he score prediction?
I think it'll be a tough game, but I think we'll score flat to deceive. I think it'll be 3-1 to us.
So, I mean, it could be a hard game, but a cushioned score line almost, if that makes sense.
That's what I mean. Yeah. You look at the end of the game and go, "Fucking hell, that was a comfortable win." Then you look and you actually look at it and you go,
you look at your blood pressure and your pulse. So, right, somebody's lying here. Right. So, well, I mean, let's see how it goes. But we all obviously hope that the momentum continues, and but who knows? Maybe we'll put some pressure on Arsenal by the end of April. Stranger things have happened at sea. Stranger things have happened at sea. But if you want to know how that's going for us, that little prediction, you got to do this. You got to follow us on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram. Click the likes and the subscribes and the bells and get notifications. We will be back next week. I believe there's a morning coffee tomorrow because Cuzzy's been told there is. So you'll see his beautiful features again and his dulcet Scouse tones. For me, Brian, Cuzzy, and Suzie, thank you for joining us. We're all off to Betty Boys. It's been a busy day. Have a good one. Peace out. Here's some funky music.